Well, hello. This episode starting without all the music, without all the production, everything else. In fact, I should probably confess, I had already recorded this episode and decided I probably recorded it from too emotional of a state. So I am re recording it and it's going to get uploaded the exact same day. You know, there's so many things in our business that we want to make so perfect, that we want to do so exactly right. That includes doing the big production. You know, here's the scoop. Sometimes life knocks us down. Seeing as how there isn't going to be all the big production. If you're brand new to the episode or brand new to the podcast, my name is Glenda and I am a sales strategist for the travel industry with nearly 20 years of experience selling travel. I help travel advisors get unstuck, get them going, find ways to make their business profitable. We're going to show you all the ways in which you can create a profitable travel business and have even more success selling. But now that we got that part of it out of the way, let's jump into what's been going on. So, if you've been a regular listener, you probably noticed I've been absent for a while, like a long while. But since I'm always getting DMs from travel advisors that have just found my podcast, in fact, I got one just like 2 days ago, letting me know that they're headed out to go and participate in, or that they're about to have an interview to be able to join the industry. I know that people find me all the time. So if you've been around for a while, you've definitely noticed a big gap. So I'm going to use this episode to tell you a little bit about what's been going on. But then we're going to consider this to have been, that was a season finale, and this is a season premiere, and we're going to get going. So in 2022, I had a few life things come along. We ended up moving, which I didn't think was going to be a big deal. Let me tell you, it's a lot bigger deal than it actually appeared like it was going to be. So that took a lot out of me. Following that, my mom had surgery. And bless their heart, I love my parents. My dad was a farmer. So he has lived a very traditional style of a life where my mom's done all the cooking and done all of the housekeeping and everything else. And my dad got to learn all of that. And I do laugh because he discovered certain things were beneath his were not a valid use of his talent, such as peeling vegetables. So there was different things involved in that. So I did a lot of the cooking and looking after them and this, that, the other, until unfortunately my husband caught COVID. And then we had to we put ourselves in a lockdown. I know there's all sorts of conversation about that. That's for something else. But anyways, I avoided that. Moving on through, I did an industry cruise in November. I was so absolutely excited. I loved getting back out on the open water. I can't tell you how much I've missed cruising, but also to be on board a ship with like 4,000 other people. Almost everybody was travel industry, getting to chat with travel advisors, see what struggles they're facing. What are they needing more help in? All these sorts of things. I came back so electrified and ready to hit the ground. And unfortunately, we had a tragedy in our family, and my brother had been killed in an accident. So we've been rebounding, getting all of that. There was so much drama with that. Once criminals found out that his house was vacant, they wouldn't stop breaking into it. So in the midst of our grief and in the midst of trying to get everything else, we had to go and try and move as much of his belongings as we possibly could so that the criminals didn't take it. It was, frankly, for a lack of a better term, it was a shit show and a half. If you have kids in the car, I am so sorry. But that's what it was. That was the life in which we lived. And then, of course, my brother was a very anti-vax, anti-COVID, anti-everything. And my brother, in true brother style, after almost 3 years of avoiding it, I was the chosen one to catch it at his service, of all places. So then I had to go into recovery from that. And I unfortunately got some of the long hauler vertigo, things like that are going along with that. But as I said, we're in a new season and I am looking forward. So here's the scoop. Crap happens. It happens all the time. So I want to share with you some of the things that I learned through, all of the changes, everything else. Some of it was planned, some of it wasn't. Some of it was planned, but didn't go as planned, if you will. Like I said, I thought moving was relatively simple, especially in case I forgot. Like, we bought a furnished home. The problem to that is we didn't sell a furnished home. So we had a lot of things that still needed to be moved and other such and taken care of and whatnot. Last year, both of my kids moved. Like, there was just, if I never see another moving truck, it will be too soon. We are going to stay for a very long time. If I feel like moving, I will pack a suitcase and travel for a little bit. But yeah, so the things that I learned out of that is the fact that whether it is by choice or by illness or by whatever, it's making sure your business is set up to run without you. So here's my tips for that. One, making sure that your content is built out in advance. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've been taken out of your game, that you've gotten sick or had a tragedy, or, it could mean that you've got vacations coming that you don't want to have to build out content for. It could be that you are so incredibly lucky that your business is off and sailing and you are putting out quotes left, right, and center that you don't have time to build content. Well, here's the deal. When I owned my own agency back in the day, it was a brick and mortar agency. That's how my business ran. This is why when I'm talking to you about firsthand experiences. Everything I teach, everything I coach on, everything that I work with you and any of your colleagues and other such, it is always on what I learned the hard way. That's the benefit of hanging out with me. I'm going to tell you all the things I screwed up so that you don't have to. And one of the really big ones that I screwed up was the feast and famine of content. And that was the fact that, and that also too, it wasn't just what I did on social. I did things in print marketing. I did all sorts of marketing. And when I was so busy because I was always working in the business, all the marketing would disappear. And then I'd be like, oh crap, now we're quiet. Now we're dead. What do we do? Oh, let's pump the marketing. I'd start pumping the marketing engine and we get so busy that I didn't have time to keep feeding the marketing engine. Well, then you work on these feast and famine cycles where you go for about 6 weeks of just flat out can't think straight. And then you would go into like 8 weeks where there's nothing going on because you've got to rebuild that engine. So my going forward is going to be very much focused on a constant consistency, making sure that I have content that's going out in whatever mediums it is that I choose for them to go out. Like I said, I have people who still reach out to me as of 2 days ago when I have not put out a podcast episode in more than 7 months. I still have people who are listening to it. So for my ideal audience, they're finding me on a podcast. Perhaps that's where your audience is. Perhaps it's not. But you're not going to know unless you really take the time to look at it. Just like YouTube, things like that. There's places where your content can live in a long-term bubble where it continues to go out and circulate around and around and around. So sometimes you want to look at some of your marketing as what are you going to use it to be able to continue to build your awareness and knowledge and other such down the road so that people can come back and find you. When's the last time you looked at your website and your copy and all the things that are there? I'm in the process of rewriting a lot of mine. Partly because I've refined my message. In chatting with travel advisors on that cruise, there were certain things that I was missing because I was going on it in what I had heard through certain circles. But when you are mixed in amongst like 3,000, 4,000 travel industry people standing in line doing a scavenger hunt, you hear a lot of things. You get to ask a lot of questions. You get to meet a lot of really, really cool people. And I absolutely love that sailing for that reason. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to be changing, but it's making sure that I have things that are going to run when I'm not there. For our Travel Sales Academy that we have, where it's an on-demand library that is constantly dropping new videos, new trainings and other such for our members, I want to make sure that I get to the point where I have at least 6 months in advance all scheduled up. Does that mean that that's all I'm going to drop down I'll know for the next 6 months? Yeah, there's a good chance I'm going to know what's going to go on for the next 6 months. but doesn't mean I'm not going to be able to drop other things in there. I'm always going to be able to add in extra things. I'm going to be able to change things. You know what? That one can come out later. This one's more pressing at the moment. But if something tragic happened where I suddenly couldn't get out of bed for 6 weeks, I wouldn't have to worry because my program is automatically going to drop content on the set dates that it's supposed to do it. And I don't have to worry about that. That takes planning. That's not something I'm just going to wake up one day and be like, okay, I have 6 months of content. No, I have to write out everything I'm going to be talking about. I have to work with my videographer to get everything all built out, things like that. I have to build a plan so that I can have a plan in place. Now, here's the thing. You can't just plan to plan. You actually have to plan to execute, and you have to execute that plan. And that's going to be one of the topics that we're going to be talking about in upcoming episodes. Some of the other things that we're going to be talking about are going to be understanding the difference between a supportive or non-supportive spouse and a controlling one. You know, there's a lot of travel advisors out there that say my spouse isn't supporting my business. Well, are they not supporting you, or are they trying to control you so that you don't grow the way you want to? We're going to have episodes about how to build up your sales confidence. Of course, we're going to have sales tips and tricks and things like that. We're going to be working with some amazing tourism boards coming up in the next few months here. And of course, I've also got some fabulous marketing colleagues that are going to be coming in and sharing with you some different tips and tricks on that. I can't wait for what's headed your way over the next, I don't even want to say over the next however many months, because this is such an ongoing thing. And this list is constantly growing of ways in which that we can support you. We can help you grow your travel business so that you get to have fun. You know, that's actually something that I'm going to be implementing a lot more on my website. And there's a lot of people out there that'll be like, whoa, you can't talk about owning a business being fun. Why not? We live, work, breathe in an industry that is completely about fulfilling people's dreams and wishes, fulfilling bucket lists, getting people to experience things that they never could have imagined. Could you imagine sending people on a trip knowing that they were never, not even once, ever going to be able to giggle, smile, or have fun while they were doing this? Yeah, me neither. The only chance is that possibly if they were going to a funeral and they were not, you know, like my family where we grieve through laughter. But you are in an industry where people are doing things to have fun, to escape their everyday, to build their experiences, to build what they know of the world, everything around them. That's freaking fun. And that's what you are so freaking lucky to get to do each and every day. If you're in family travel, you're helping families reconnect. You're helping them be able to go run on a beach and listen to their kids giggle, or maybe you're sending them to Italy so that the kids can learn how to make pizza. Maybe you're helping young couples or empty nesters or somebody reconnect or simply connect. You're building romantic vacations. Well, trust me, if they're not laughing on a romantic vacation, there's probably something else wrong. But the thing is that you get to help people have fun. And if you're not having fun, neither will your clients. So this one is going to be relatively short. I am actually going to try and keep them all fairly short. But if you've been around me any length of time, we already know I chase squirrels. That's just how it is. But I can't wait for you to join me for the next episode. And it will be coming out very, very soon. It will actually probably come out before next week. And again, it probably won't have any production because we just want to get it out and get it done. We'll get back to the regular way of doing it with full production in the coming weeks. But for right now, it is about putting one step in front of the other. It is about starting one thing at a time. I have people who are already receiving my emails. They're already getting those. I'm committed to getting back on doing those every week. And my next step was to get back on doing my podcasts every week. So it's just little by little adding in something new every week. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, any comments, anything, come find me over on Instagram, Art of Selling Travel. You can also find me on Facebook, Art of Selling Travel, but send me a DM. I want to connect. I want to know more about you. I want to know what you got out of this episode. And I want to know what it is that makes your job fun. What is your favorite part? Actually, you know what? Shoot me a DM telling me what is your favorite part of what you do. I can't wait to hear. Until next time, happy selling, love and light. I will see you then.